Hey, everybody, let's try this again. We're going to see what happens. I could not get Spanky in because Spanky went home and he tried to come in from, we were going to do a split screen, but there's no hope. I can't even bring him in. The internet is really messed up. So, hey, Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Alex Moore, how are you? You guys got to let me know if this, Layla Bradley says 5 by 5. All right, Mock, good to see you. Ann from Massachusetts. All right. Body Illusion. What's happening? A Rolling Stone. Good to see you. Layla. Glad you're here. Really glad you're here. Jason P. Good to see you. Did I say Body Illusion? Well, I'll say it again. No problem there. Wicked Tinkers. What's happening? Shannon Smith. Good to see you. West Coast Fancy Nancy. We got them both. We got both of the Fancy Nancys in the house. RSM. Goosebump. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. Good to see you, Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. Goosebumps 801 says, hey again, peeps. Tommy and Body Illusion really nuked her first troll today. No way. There was only hair and lips. It was glorious. I like it. I like it. Hey, Swedish Lena. Good to see you. You know what? It's really a beautiful thing when somebody cooks their first troll. Guacaholic, good to see you. Kristen Melinda's there again. I love you, Kristen Melinda. So glad that you, every time. I really, you're fantastic. Charlie Mullins, good to see you. Good to see you. Panda Kelly, glad you're in the house. I'm not joking. There really is something glorious. Ben's not joking either. There's something fantastic about watching that happen. I mean, let's be honest, these aren't the nicest fellas, right? Or ladies. I guess they come in both flavors. I would imagine more men than women, but what do I know? What do I know? I just know the ones that mess with me. And they're certainly all sausage fest. And probably in life too. Charlie Murphy, the absolute first subscriber on the Lifeboat. It's an honor to have you here, Charlie, every single time. And I mean that. I absolutely mean that. I want to thank everybody that's been leaving messages and all of the people that have just been engaging. Boat's on a really nice swing right now, and I really appreciate all of you. Bobby Hurst, good to see you. Glad you're here. Abrusti, how are you? Good to see you. Glad you are here. Yeah, the sound's so good it almost blew my eardrums out because I still have the headphones on echo locating sound level. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Cricket, good to see you. Kim Roy, what's up? Yeah, I'm going to be doing a little story time tonight because there's a lot of people that are kind of new to the boat. Hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. I joined and the first sentence was sausage fest. Well, that's about right, isn't it? Huh? You came in right on time. No matter when you come in, I'm probably saying something wrong. Roberta, good to see you. That happens all the time on the other channel too. Mama D, I don't get early notifications anymore. Makes all the difference. Hello, world. You know what? You're here, though, and that is a beautiful thing. That really is a beautiful thing. The trolliest trolls I have seen just tell me I should take my top off. Mostly, I'm just bummed they aren't more creative. You know what, Kristen Melinda? I remember having a conversation with somebody once, and it was a similar situation, but it was a dude, and the guy said to me, "What you would want a dude wanting you?" And I said, the only thing worse than that would be him not wanting me. You know what I mean? Like, it may be a bummer that they're asking you to take your top off, but wouldn't you be really bummed if they weren't? What if they were looking at you going, "Take your top"? No, we're good. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Go ahead and keep that on. At least it's something for the ego, Kristen Melinda, right? A little something for the ego. Nothing wrong with that. And especially seeing as you take it with such a good sense of humor. Mrs. R. Garner, back. Good to see you. A cup of coffee. I would like to take a cup of coffee. You are in our thoughts and prayers. Let's say if you're just joining us, a cup of coffee's mom is being wheeled into surgery right now. So thoughts and prayers, good vibes, anything that you can send that way would really mean a lot to me. Nana of 2, good to see you. Sweet Tea, how are you, Sweet Tea? You're going to listen to story time while eating your salad. Fair enough. This is salad. This is salad fare. I think that this is the kind of thing you can eat. Listen to salad. I mean, eat while listening to me. I think salad will work. We'll see though. We'll have to see. Shannon Smith, what's happening? Lori Sue Reagan Clint. Okay. I am seeing so many familiar faces in this chat this evening. Well, Lori, that's a beautiful thing. Yarn Prepper, good to see you. Eddie P, there's Tommy. That's right. I am here. There's no getting around it. Scoob, what's happening, Scoob? There's Rick. Rick Spicer, how are you? There's Casey. Okay, we're almost underway now. We're almost underway now. There's Spanx Calhoun. Seventh Son. Life is a dream. What's the best advice you got that helped you get sober and stay sober? Honestly, the best piece of advice I got was that the only way to stay sober is to make sure that you have a program, that you're doing the same things day after day. The person that was working with me pointed out that this is one of those situations where 80% of what we do every single day comes from a part of our brain that handles things like tying your shoes, where you do not even have to think about it. Hamster Heifer, good to see you. So the more of a routine you have, I really beat the crap out of getting up and making your bed. And I know that people think it's silly, but it isn't. It's the start of a day. And it's you saying, first thing I could do to make this a successful day, and I did. And for me, I never once made my bed when I was a drug addict. I also didn't clean. There would be 3 feet of clothing on the floor. I would wear clothes until everything was dirty, and then I would have to go and do 30 loads of laundry at a laundromat. And that was just how I lived for a really long time. That's just how I lived. Now, everything I do is my way of saying, that's not me anymore. It's not me anymore. And while I was going through it in the early days of my quitting, Q, gentleman that helped me get sober, would say, did you do this shit when you were using drugs? And I would say, no. Well, then you need to do it now. Or I'd say, yeah, I did that. And he'd go, then you can't do it anymore, right? You need a new life, a new start, and do everything. And I really did. Lona Lewis, good to see you. Hey, Carol Stewart, I really did. I'm not saying you guys have to completely redo your entire lives. I'm saying I had to. There wasn't much worth saving, in all honesty. But I started from scratch, and I built a better man. I really did. I built a better man, and I built one that I'm particularly proud of. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions lately because there's a lot of people who are new here who don't know who Q is. That there are things that we make reference to an awful lot on this channel that people seem to. If you're just getting here, you probably know that I'm an ex-convict. I went to prison for bank robbery. I went to prison for possession of stolen property. And I also went to prison for the buying and selling of firearms illegally, transporting them across state lines, all kinds of stuff like that, but all related to firearms. The last time that I went to prison, I was in the federal system, which is a much smaller prison than the state systems. The state systems there's 3 million people in prison in the U.S., but only about 180,000 of them are in the feds. It is a much smaller little fraternity of people that broke federal offenses. But when I was in there the last time, I met someone who was watching how I was living and said, man, you're too smart for this life. You know, you're far too smart for this life. I mean, you know, the life you're living, this is just plain stupid. Hello, Mary Barons, good to see you. And he was right. In fact, what he said is, you're either the smartest dumb person I've ever met, or you're the dumbest smart person I've ever met. But you ain't getting it done. Lucinda, good to see you. And I wasn't getting it done. What made this amazing is that this guy was black. And in prison, blacks and whites do not talk much. They certainly don't hang out with one another and try to help one another. So this was really kind of one of those out of left field kind of things. But that is the individual who helped me get sober. Sarah Brow, good to see you. I mean, literally, without him, I'm not sober. Without him, none of this happens. He spent unbelievable amounts of time with me and a lot of effort. But he's the person that made sure that I was journaling and made sure I was doing all of the things that I needed to do. Dale Cox, how are you, Dale? Good to see you. Tommy, last night I watched your stroming challenge with Johnny from 2 years ago. Any chance of a redo? Well, it's funny that you say that. I've done stroming more than once. If you're new to the boat and you don't know what that is, stroming is a delicacy. I can't even keep that lie going. They say it's a delicacy. It is a fish that smells worse than anything on earth and has a taste to back it up. It smells and tastes worse than anything on earth. And my brother and I did a challenge where we tried to eat it. And the challenge is you try to not vomit it back up because it really is difficult. But I did do it again. In fact, I think I've done it 3 times. Ew. Oh man, stuff will scar your soul. But it is a very funny video, and I'll give you that. It's a really funny video. No getting around that. Becky Lynn, good to see you, Becky Lynn. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Keith Lego. Feldman Scoville for president. Yeah, Corey, you know something? Corey Feldman he could be in some hot water. There looks like there may be some cases coming up on him. V. McWilliams, good to see you. Glad you're here. Boy, there's a lot of really interesting stuff that's happening in the world. I've done some, it makes pickled. Yeah, it is a type of pickled herring, but this one's a little different. I don't want to get into really what makes it different because it's really, really disgusting. Let's just say this. Years ago, they were running out of salt, which is what you need for the brine to cure fish. So they started doing it with a lot less salt. They were trying to rip people off is what was happening. And the fish would continue to ferment inside the can. So it's still fermenting when you get it. And it is it really is one of the grossest things in the world. But we have done it more than once. In fact, the second time the stroming had been in the desert for like a month. Not even being funny. I'm not even being funny. We've done some really stupid challenges. We really have. We've done some really stupid challenges. Stroming is a prank made up by a country making fun of all who partake. Yeah, no, it's the truth. Absolutely, that is the truth. West Coast Fancy Nancy said, when I shared with my husband about your past, he said, really? I never would have guessed. He said, he's such a cool dude. He loves all your advice. Oh, wow. I love that. Thank you so much. And thank your husband. That's a really cool thing to say. That really is a cool thing to say. Oh, V. McWilliams. I'm so sorry. V. McWilliams says, tough day today. Our cat, Roxy, of 16 years, passed away. It's been really tough. I am so sorry. I really cannot. I can't tell you how sorry I am. Thoughts and prayers with you. Solid, happy energy, anything that we can do. That's family. And 16 years is a really long time. On the bright side, that's a good run with a kitty. I wish you had gotten more, but that's a pretty decent run. Squirrel Girl, good to see you, but I am so sorry for you. I mean that. Yeah, Keith, I heard that Feldman is claiming that he's going to run for president. I do. I do owe Carl. That's the truth. He's not lying. He's not lying. I wish he was, but I do owe some Carl, and I will do it. But I got to wait for Johnny Scoville to come back. Horton Thistle, good to see you. Yeah, it's the grossest thing in the entire world. I'm not lying. Brandon Galloway, what's happening? Glad you're here. Yeah, it's really gross. Linda K. Yeah, it's not hard to find, right? It's got me like I have my hand up to my mouth and it says, I think Scoville Brothers Stroming Challenge or something. It's it's pretty nasty stuff. It really is pretty nasty stuff. In fact, I can't think of anything nastier. V. McWilliams, this is a group of people here that really kind of get it. Shannon Smith says, would like you to do true crime again. Any chance? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am looking at true crime every day, looking for things to bring to the channel. Sometimes I will do stuff that people have done 100 times because I think my take on it is a little different. But I don't want to do stuff for the sake of doing it, but if I'm into a story, here's the thing. there's going to be a big thing coming up on P. Diddy. Trust and believe, P. Diddy's in a lot of trouble. They have been convening that grand jury this entire summer, man. I'm not kidding. There's a lot going on with that case, and it's not looking good for the cat at all. Really not looking good. I am a sympathetic spewer too. I can't hear anyone gagging without starting myself. Then you do not want to watch any of the videos that I'm talking about, because my particular brand of dry heave is pretty much the nastiest thing you've ever heard in your life. I have been. They have said I have the greatest dry heave on all of the internet, and I don't know, man. LA Beast, I think is probably got the greatest, but I will absolutely take second best. Dale Cox, Spanx Calhoun was trying to find where your address was sent. You need to send it right now to sober@myyahoo.com, because Spanky could not find your address. We were doing that all day today and can't find it anywhere listed anywhere. So send it to sober@myyahoo.com. Susan Lynn, good to see you. Tommy, have you ever heard or eaten the stinky fruit? It's called durian. Yes, I have eaten durian. I'll be really honest with you. Durian doesn't taste bad. It really doesn't. It smells bad, but it doesn't taste bad. I can eat durian fruit again. I was not particularly grossed out by durian fruit. I mean, the smell's a little bad, but I like the taste of it. You are doing it all wrong, right? Do it right, and you can eat it, no worries. Take it from a Swede who loves, damn. Well, I will tell you this. I've tried it that way. You're supposed to take it with a cracker, slice a little piece of tomato and then a piece of cheese. I tried that. I did. You know what I did? I went, I won't make the sound because I know you're a sympathetic. I vomited all over the place. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I'll do the wasabi challenge. Honestly, I dig that. I even like the burn from wasabi. I really like that. I'm good for as much wasabi as they can give me. I dig it. I would do that. Absolutely, I would do that. I do have a lovely dry heat. Thank you so much, Hins. I really appreciate that. You know, not everybody can appreciate that, but I do appreciate it. That's a kind thing to say. Aaron Cooper, good to see you. Lord Kiss Freak, what's happening? Oh, you know what, Sweet Tea? That is an interesting case. The Micah J.P. Miller case from Myrtle Beach, crazy stuff. That is one I could end up doing a show on, actually. And don't listen while you're driving, both Tommy and Johnny hurling in surround sound. Yeah, you don't much want to do that while driving. That's a great piece of advice. Suffice to say, both of us had a really difficult time getting this stuff down. Yes, it was 3 different times in prison. The first time I had a very short sentence that was made even shorter because of things that I did on the inside. I took a bunch of different courses. I also saved a guy's life, like for real. And they ended up kicking me out of prison for it. Sorry, hold on one second. Ice to Autumn, good to see you. Your mom unintentionally did a wasabi challenge by putting a lot of wasabi mayo on something. Her sinuses have never been as free, though. Well, I'll tell you something. I've told this story on the boat before, but the first time I ever had sushi, I was just trying to make time with an older girl, for real. A girl that I used to ski with, and she was, I don't know, man, 3 or 4 years older than me, which is a lot older than you when you're, in your teens. That's an older woman. And she said, I said, you ever want to, go and eat lunch or do something sometime? I love that, right? Got the guts up to do it. And she went, yeah, why don't we get sushi? Have you ever had it? I went, yeah, yeah, sure. Love it. Love it. And, you live and learn, right? Lies like that they're always going to bite you in the ass. It's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. But yeah, I lied. And they brought this stuff out. They brought it out and it looked like a clock, right? And it would go 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, all just like a clock. And they had different pieces of fish there. And I'm necking it. You know what? I do like sushi. Right from the very first time I tried it, I was like, this works, no problem, right? But in the 12 o'clock position was a ball of wasabi. I mean, about the size of a golf ball. And I don't know any better. I'm using chopsticks to try to look cool. And I picked that entire thing up and I threw it in my mouth and I started chewing on it. And the panic that ensued, because when that comes on, it burns as bad as any pepper. It really does. It burns super, super hot, but it only burns for a couple of seconds. And then it literally starts to go away, where peppers will do that to you for 20 minutes. But I didn't know it was going to stop, right? So as it starts to burn, I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm in trouble. Like this, I cannot handle this, right? And then just as I'm getting ready to get up out of the chair and make a run for the bathroom, the burning starts to subside. Now my eyes are tearing like you wouldn't believe. And this girl, whose name was Noelle, said to me, man, I have never seen anyone that likes wasabi that much. I said, yeah, I'm a fan. Pretty big fan of the stuff. Couldn't breathe. Sucked all the oxygen completely out of my lungs. Lord Kissfreak says, member for 19 months. Oh, my goodness. He says, I must be lost. This is not Spanx. Well, it's an older version, right? It's an older version of Spanx. That's all. Hope between the dreams. Good to see you. Glad you're here. You know what? I love how kind this audience is. Yeah, you know what? It really was a mistake. I had no idea. It was a good idea until it was a bad idea. Exactly. That's how it works. Oh wow! See, any chance Mullen gets to throw in a good dig on some Vegemite. I told you, man. When you guys get me to 100,000, I'm going to be necking an entire thing of Vegemite. You heard it here, but not until I get that silver play button. Yeah. What is wasabi, by the way? Wasabi is a derivative of horseradish, I think, but it will beat the ever-loving snot out of you. And it's usually in a green color. It looks like a paste, and it is very often served with sushi. And you take a little bit of that and mix it in with soy sauce, or some people just put it directly on. Most people do not pick it up in one lump and try to eat it like I did. Not particularly smart. I'm entertainment for sushi chefs because I have a strange reaction to wasabi. I call it the wasabi-gasm. If I'm at the sushi bar in front of them, they will sneak more wasabi bombs into my sushi. Well, that would be that would be an interesting. That would make you popular at just about any sushi bar on the planet, I would imagine. Lily Benjamin, good to see you. Yo, Tommy Spanx, got the entire thing. Been traveling, been lurking, been hitting replays from randos. Okay. My best to all. And Tommy, you are the dude to cover Diddy's due process. You know something? I am absolutely, I'm looking forward to doing another video on him. I really am. Hot Pep says, you look just like your brother, man. Yeah, I get that a lot. I look a lot like Johnny. There's no getting around it. I say, all the time when someone will say, you're famous, I'll go, I am. I'm famous for being Johnny Scoville's little brother. Beans Brown, good to see you. Glad you're here. I mean, absolutely no two ways about it. People will come up all the time and go, hey, I know who you are. But they never go, what's up, Tommy? They go, you're Johnny's little brother. I get that one all the time. There's more unsolicited advice. Well, good. There's nothing wrong with a little unsolicited advice. I take it, right? I take it's part of this. Look, I let people into my life, right? And I take 25 minutes to do roll call, right? I know everybody. I answer the comments that people leave. I really do make a point of trying to build relationships with the people in the audience. So I'm going to get some unsolicited advice. I mean, that's kind of how it works. And honestly, I'm cool with it. You know, as long as it's respectful. Every once in a while, I'll get some that's not, and that's a bummer. But you've never been that person. Kathy Loves Horses says, "Hi everyone, love Vegemite," but she's not really being honest. Nobody loves Vegemite, honestly. Alan Valentine used to say that he was a fan of Vegemite. Lady Crispin used to say she was a fan of Vegemite, which just goes to show you that those Aussies, they're not right. They're really not right in the head. Sarah Brown says, "I'm about to have Vegemite toast now with my cup of tea. On purpose? Is there nothing else in that house? Seriously, have you not heard of peanut butter?" Mary, I don't know how to answer that. Spanx Calhoun, if you are in the chat, can you help Mary Behrens? Because I'm not particularly bright. And honestly, I don't know how that works. I know I feel so stupid every time I say that, but I do not. Yeah, my face is narrower than Johnny's. Miss Dragon is right, especially lately. I did a show here when I came out and I was talking about my memory fading away and what a bummer that was. And we were talking about the cerebral infarction and all that. And I said, I'm going to lose about 30 pounds, right? I called it. I said, just pay attention because I'm about to lose 30 pounds because the doctor said it's going to be a whole lot easier on my heart. I was going to see a lot less flutter. So I did just that. I lost that weight. But it's funny how many people are like, dude, he looks like he's losing weight. Man, I told the world I was going to. Lost Mittens, good to see you. But since I lost that 30 pounds, my face is a lot narrower than it used to be. And now I have cheekbones, which you never could see before. But yeah, I have lost a ton of weight. They'll tell you I'm smoking crack. They have a pretty good time with that. But no, I called it. I really needed to lose weight. The doc said for every 15 pounds you can knock off, you are really going to be buying your heart a lot more time, you know, and a much easier time. And I said, oh, that shouldn't be too tough. Like for real, I can knock off 30 pounds. Yarn Prepper says, Tommy, you and Spanx must look alike through osmosis because you do look alike. You know something? I've been hearing that Spanky's entire life. I've been hearing that his entire life. People are always saying how much we look alike. He really looks a lot like his mom. If you ever could see his mom, you would really see that. But I do get that all the time. Squirrel Girl says, I'm such a sympathetic gagger. I made my kids clean up their own vomit. Bad mommy. I don't know. I don't know that I can call it bad. Tampa B man, good to see you. You know, the Italians have a word, schivare, right? That, like when you make that noise, but you don't vomit, right? To skeeve, you go, I skeeve that. Like that will make you make that noise, right? And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Bad smells will make me do that all the time. So watching me on the Systroming videos is pretty funny because smelling that will just immediately make me skeeve. There's no way not to. No way not to. Tampa B, I am so glad you're here. I mean that. I love it when Tampa B's here. You know what's funny, Tampa B? Somebody the other night was really concerned because they didn't see you, and they said, "Did Ted break her credit card?" I said, "No, man. She's always right here." Yes, I come from Australia. It's an Aussie thing. I know it is, Kathy. You know what? Honestly, I would love to love it. You know, I have a lot of love for all things Aussie. I really do. Prior to computer systems getting really good, I used to go there. I have been there many times, actually. And then the computer systems got really good, and felons now, we don't slip through the cracks anymore. There's no way to just get on a flight and get over there. And it used to be easy, and it's not. Now it's almost impossible. Vegemite is made by the devil. After 25 years, I still make my husband eat his toast outside. It makes me dry heaving. You know what? I get it. I think it's one of the grossest things in the world. I really do. I'm sorry, but and who thinks it up? I got an idea. Yeast. Let's take a bunch of yeast, all that stuff that they get in the bottom of the vat, right? Let's spread that on some toast, right? We could try that. Like that had to be one of those things. Seriously, who else thought that was a great idea? Doesn't make any sense. It needs the right balance. It can't have it can't be too strong, and it needs to be on buttered toast, not plain, not thick like Nutella, just real thin. And it is the right amount of saltiness. Here's the thing. Normally, I dig salty things, right? Like I love caviar, and those are little salt bombs, right? But I love caviar. But man, Vegemite, I feel like every time I smell it or I taste it, I think, yeah, they blew this batch, right? Like this batch is effed up. Like maybe this is not what it tastes like all the time, but there's something wrong with this batch. And then inevitably I'll have an Aussie, I am friends with a lot of them. I'll have an Aussie that will actually taste that batch and go, oh, no, mate, that's perfect. I'd be like, no way, that's actually what it tastes like on purpose. Miss Chicago says, my daughter brought Vegemite for her school around the world. One girl loved it. Everyone else wanted to throw up. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. You know what is funny, though? When I went to buy the Vegemite, I had to do it at World Market. And when I went into the World Market, as we're walking, there's a woman loading a car, and she's a crew member of the lifeboat. I didn't know this. But as I'm walking in, she looks at me and goes, Tommy Scoville and Johnny Scoville, welcome. And it was just the funniest crap in the world because I looked at my brother. I was like, see that? Somebody knew me. Tommy, how did you lose so much and not have excess skin? Well, when you take the entire amount that I lost it over the course of about 3 years. The last 30 I did in probably 90 days. But I also work out a ton, right? I drink a ton of water. And in all honesty, there's a little pinch of excess skin. There really is. Like I have, you can see my abs. Like I do work out quite a bit. And at the very bottom part of my abs, you can see where the skin should be just a little tighter. But, some of that could just be that I'm getting old too. Sweet tea, yes, the flutters have been under control. It wasn't under control in all honesty. But it is better now. I had a couple of days that just were not going very well, and I was having a difficult time getting it back in. And I was very concerned that I was going to have to go to the hospital. But fortunately, I didn't. Anytime that starts to happen to me, the first thing I got to go do is go pound a crap load of water, because I honestly believe that the start of flutter for me every single time has to do with dehydration. Even if I'm drinking water, I'm not drinking enough water, right? I really need to keep, and it never happens to me in Tennessee, right? Because Quibble makes those huge ass things, those cups that she gets from Starbucks, and puts the electrolyte stuff in it. And those things are like 32 or 40 ounces or whatever. And the second I get it done, she's got another one there. So I stay really well hydrated out there. Here I don't. Sometimes I just get into what I'm doing and I can kind of forget about it. Oh, wow. Ann from Mass says, my dry heat food is NATO fermented soybeans. To me, they smell like sweaty old socks. Oh, no. Yeah, that just sounds awful. It really does. That sounds awful. Wow. What's the name of my brother's channel? Chase the Heat is the name of my brother's channel. Chase the Heat. Pamela Grieve says, hey, Tommy, I am an Aussie, so I am a Vegemite kid. The trick is load the butter and a tiny bit of veggie. Hugs, buds. Well, I'll take the hugs. I really do appreciate that. All of my Aussie friends say the same thing. It's got to be really, really thin, right? There's got to be butter on the toast. And it seems to me like this is a freaking afterthought. And if I got to put it on that thin, like, does one of those bottles last you a millennium? Because everybody's talking about, like, you got to put this like paper thin amount. I'll just salt the butter, right? And then I won't have to deal with that smell or any of that other stuff. We're just going for salt. I think I could get it and cut out the middleman. It's not very expensive, that salt. You can get a metric ton of it for about $15. Thank you, Dale Cox. Jeremy Shelton. I often think that you have a striking resemblance to an older Robin Gibb. You know what? I can see that. Jeremy Shelton. I'll be honest with you. When I grow my beard out completely, I could pass for Barry. So I think there might be some, maybe it's just something in the genes. I don't know. My grandmother used to say that things gave her the sleeves. She was full Italian. I guess never knew what it meant. Yeah, she was saying skeeves with a SK, not sleeves. Skeeves. Yeah, means it makes you want to vomit. That's great. That's great. That's where I learned it too. Uh, Johnny has some amazingly cute dimples. When I met him in person, it was the first thing I noticed. Where did you happen to meet Johnny in person? That's always fun. Johnny is great. He is the exact same person in real life that he is on the big red button. It's amazing. You know what? Mama D says, "Hey Tommy, is there a time when they will forget your past? I know you are more free now in the U.S., but regarding flying places, no, they will not. Uh, the only hope for that, and this is just going to sound crappy, but this is the world that we live in, right? Um, if I get famous enough, it's a non-issue. They let famous people with felonies go in and out of any country they want because it's good publicity, right? And they want the guy to come back or the gal to come back and say, "Oh, I had so much fun." Hold on one second. Yes, beer is made with yeast, to be sure. Vegemite is better than candy corn. Jeremy Shelton, you're a communist. Nothing is better than candy corn. I love that. What do I think of potted meat? You know what, Miss Chicago? People have been talking to me about this potted meat for a long time. I have not done any of the potted meat, but people keep talking to me about it. It must be really nasty because everybody wants me to do it. Everybody wants me to do it. It must be awful. I just watched the 1,000-year-old egg salad sandwich. Total blind replay. Click. Sweet baby Jesus. Yeah, that sounds about right. We did eat the century egg. Yeah, that's not particularly pleasant either. In fact, we made egg salad out of it. Yeah, my brother's not right. I blame my brother. Hey, Lisa. Love Lisa. Lisa, I'm glad you're here. What is the difference between Vegemite and Marmite? Well, one is made very specifically with uh, yeast, and the other, I believe, is made with marmots. Just gonna take a shot in the dark on this one. No, I think they're just two different products, and I know that the Aussies crap all over Marmite, so they're forever crapping on it. They really are. Hey, Lisa, I'm glad you're here. You know what? You're a solid friend, Kim. Kim did not make her friends, hurl alone. Friends don't let friends hurl alone. She would just drop a finger down her throat and enjoin them so that they didn't feel ashamed or alone. I think that's lovely. I really do. I think that's lovely. There's a German food technician and cook that has a show about the tricks of the food industry, and he was challenged to do Vegemite. He was disgusted. So were the viewers. Yeah, I believe that. Marmite sucks more than Vegemite. That's it. Okay, well there you go. Lori breaks it down for you. One sucks worse than the other. And apparently that would be Marmite. Uh, got a closed chat. I'm going to listen. All right, Miss Chicago. Okay, I should probably be going faster too. Geoplanet Jane, good to see you. So Marmite is suckier than Vegemite. Yeah, we have that on good authority. Just about everybody seems to agree with that. You know what, Cricket? Cricket's complaining about the NATO from Japan, really slimy stuff. I struggle more with texture, I think, than I do with taste. I really struggle with that. One tough chick. Glad you're here. You did catch a lie. How cool is that? Mrs. Gardner, I think that you're probably telling the truth. I spent a decent amount of time on the phone today with Quibs, and I think both of us are probably we've reached that time apart where we probably need to get back together, that kind of thing. And won't be long now, I promise. Won't be long now. Finishing up the work that I got to do here, and then yeah, I promise won't be long now. National is so slimy and gross, but supposed to be good for you. Somebody said mixing it with yogurt helps disguise it. What are we, Susan, what are we mixing with it? I don't know what National is. Does anyone know what that is? Or is that an autocorrect? But clearly the best kind of weird. Good kinds of weird. Everybody here, yeah. There we go. Apparently my brother is so cute. Hello, my sister, Curious George. Good to see you. No, you know what? Johnny's a hell of a dude. Bulldog Mom. Hey, Tommy, my brother recognized your name when I said it. He said, "Is that the pepper guy?" I said his brother, and yeah, that's. I'm telling you, I get that a lot. Oh wow, Joni Allen found a Funny Farm DVD today. Now I have to dig out the player and hook it up. Yeah, the first time I'm on film will be in the first like 5 to 6 minutes of the film, and then about 3/4 of the way through the film, I'm on again. I'm the highlight of the movie. I think you'll find that it was pretty sad that the Academy passed me over. I think it was I don't know. I think it was a personal thing. A lot of times they don't seem to like Italians. That's what I'm sticking with. When you were young, your mom used to give you Vegemite soup when you were sick. Wow. Yeah, that would. I don't know that I could do that. Tang and food sticks and watching I Dream of Jeannie. You know what? That's really funny. That is really funny. Those little food stick things that they would always tell us that the astronauts had. Wow. Whine a little bit more. Just got done with work. Well, we're glad that you're joining us. It really makes me happy. Yeah, I know that Wyoming and Colorado are on fire. We have friends that are right in the middle of this, and we're very concerned about them. So thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. Menudo is fantastic. Oh, and have fun. She's off making spicy ramen. I like it. Yeah, there you go. I knew it was probably NATO. You know what? This is I gotta beg to differ on this. I gotta beg to differ on this, right? Here's the thing. They don't want the bad press, so they pulled that stuff off of the market. The Paqui, the company that made the one chip challenge, is owned by Pepsi, right? Pepsi's not going to risk, right, what they've got going for this silly potato chip challenge, right? And that's not a potato, it's but you know what I'm saying. The one chip challenge. There was no way they were going to risk what they've got going for that. So they just pulled it off of all the shelves. But I promise you that that one chip did not give that dude a heart attack. I've done the one chip challenge. And as far as, I mean, it's hot. Make no mistake, it's hot. But I've done way hotter. I really have. I've done way hotter. And we're going to find out that there was something else going on because capsaicin just does not bring heart attacks on. It really doesn't. So that would be a very rare thing, unless he had a particular allergy. Some people are allergic to capsaicin, but apparently that's not the case here. Johnny Scoville, my brother, did a show about this. If you meet Tommy, Johnny, and Spanx in person, what you see is what you get. Why, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. I was lucky enough to meet Jason and his wife at the Pepper Festival in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which was really, really fun. I had a very good time with that. I really did. Yeah, space food sticks. I remember those growing up. I loved those. Uh, oh, wow. Really? That sucks. It works the other way too. My daughter-in-law cannot go to the USA because of a heroin charge. Well, that sucks. That really does. That sucks. I wish there was a way we could sponsor them in because I feel for people whose only sin is addiction, right? It wasn't my only sin, I promise. But for a lot of people, that really is it. Oh, shut up. I had no idea. I had no idea who I was talking to. I'll be damned. Don in Wyoming. Don in Wyoming has been here forever. He's been on the boat a very, very long time. Love you, Don in Wyoming. Good to see you. Uh, West Coast Fancy Nancy says, I can't like menudo. My dad loved it. So when I took care of him, I would go get it from our favorite Mexican restaurant for him. I ordered enchiladas. You know what? Yeah, I miss my dad. I'm a huge fan of menudo. I really am. It's don't tell me what's in it. I like it. Don't tell me what's in it. Oh no. So menudo is something other than a music group, sweet tea. Yes, it is. It is a soup. It's a Mexican soup that is it's made with tripe. It's made with and big pieces of hominy. You know, the corn. Great stuff. Yeah, I can't believe that. It's me, says Bulldog Mom. I would never have known. Don in Wyoming. Damn. But now everyone's gonna go, holy hell, Don in Wyoming. Don's been here a long time, really long time. It's great to see you. Yeah, the 80s band Menudo. It was the 80s, the 90s, right? Menudo kept going forever because every time somebody hit, they had it like the age groups they covered probably 6 years. And as the oldest people got older, they would just replace them, right? They would just keep bringing people in, and it was a nonstop. They didn't care who was in the band. It didn't really matter. The incredibly weird thing about the 80s band Menudo is that the Menendez brothers, right? Their father worked with Menudo, and there's some stuff coming out that he may have essayed some of the guys in the band, which might put a little bit more credence into what the Menendez brothers were saying about their dad, that he did that kind of stuff. It's very odd. The guy from Menudo's got no reason to lie. One tough chick says, also, I live with sensory processing disorder. Mouth feel is a big issue for me. I had huge issues with food textures as a child, and it's still an issue, but not nearly as terrible. My daughter struggles really hard with that. Struggles really, really hard with that. No, it's not only a music group, Lisa. It is not only a music group. It is a great you know what? If it's made fresh, it's the greatest thing in the world. Like if they make it good, it is absolutely yes. It is the stomach lining of a cow. It sounds better when you say tripe, though, isn't it? I mean, look, tripe sounds nice. I had a little tripe. Hey, I had the lining of a cow's stomach. See, now everybody's just bummed out. Menudo is a hangover cure back in my disgusting drinking days. Well, they still say it is. And I have always been a big believer that it does make you feel better if you're feeling sick in any way. It doesn't have to just be a hangover. My mom used to make menudo on New Year's Day for their hungover friends, and God, did that stink when it cooked like cow's breath. You know what? There's some truth to that, but it tastes so good. Miss Sunrise Dawn, 63 days cigarette free. 63 days cigarette free, and my hubby quit today. Well, hats off to your husband. Tell him we're proud of him. And you are just a non-smoker, man. At day 63, you're just a non-smoker. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of menudo, but it's that one to me is just it's always tasted good. I really have always just enjoyed that. Ricky Martin was in menudo. I did not know that. He was one of those guys. I had no idea. Oh, Mary, blessed to crochet. I'm really sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers for your aunt. That's terrible. God, I hate that disease. Yeah, from what I hear, they may reopen the case, says Mary. I've heard the same thing, Mary. I've heard the same thing. They are very seriously talking about opening the case because it's not just that. There's some other evidence that looks like it should have gotten in and didn't. There's some really weird stuff going on. In the Philippines, they throw in hot dogs or pork chunks as well. Really? I don't know if I'd like that as much, but I don't know. I'd be willing to give it a try. I would absolutely be willing to give that a try. Incarnasol, what's happening? Marie Marion, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the party. Question: what was the hardest thing? Let's see. Question: what was the hardest thing to adjust to when you were released from prison? You know what? This is a really easy question. Believe it or not. You would think that this might be hard. This is not. This is a really, really easy question. So I'll say that whites and blacks don't hang out and they don't talk in prison. There's not a lot of talking that goes on between them, but there is a tremendous amount of respect between them. There's a tremendous amount of respect with everybody. There really is. Nobody wants to get into a knife fight, right? Nobody wants to get stabbed. Nobody wants to rock the boat. So you will hear, excuse me, pardon me, that kind of thing, more in prison than you will ever hear it on the street. More people will go out of their way to treat you with dignity and respect in prison than they do on the street. And there are just like unwritten rules. Like if you're online for something, no one would ever stand a foot behind you. And I remember getting out of federal prison the first time, and the first thing I did was go to an ATM machine because they give you your money on a card. And I didn't trust them. I wanted the money off the card. So I went to an ATM machine and I put it in the machine. And I'm not kidding you. A guy walked up behind me this far. He's this far behind me. And I'm punching numbers in to get money out. And I turned around and looked at him and went, "Are you stupid? Honestly, like you're close enough to look over my shoulder. How about backing up 3 or 4 feet?" And apparently I didn't say it particularly nicely. And I was married at the time, and my wife was like, "What are you doing? You can't talk to people like that." I'm like, "Well, what is that moron doing?" You know what I mean? No one would ever do that. Like after 13 years, you really expect you come out and there's very little respect out here. There really isn't. There's very little respect, and that was the hardest thing for me to get used to. It's pretty, yeah. That's definitely the hardest thing, without a doubt. ATM machines, anywhere where you're in line, people just they have absolutely no respect for anybody. People don't say excuse me, things like that. I mean, they would never make it inside. Someone would punch him to death in the first 2 minutes. You've been waiting to hear my take on Diddy. It was interesting to hear my take on Masterson. I've done about 5 or 6 videos on Diddy. I did the first one a long time ago, really a long time ago. And when I did, I said, I'm doing this because I am of the firm belief that this dude is doing the exact same thing that Jeffrey Epstein was. Tommy Scoville at gmail.com, WP. Tommy Scoville at gmail.com. That's the best one to send it to be sure. My philosophy is everyone gets a baseline level of respect. And then based on their behavior, it increases or decreases, but everyone gets manners. I agree with you. I mean, that's how it is supposed to be, but it just isn't. And the other thing that's really hard to get used to is there's a way to guarantee that you get into a fight with someone in prison, right? There are 2 words. If you utter either of those words to somebody, if you call them a punk or you call them a bitch, it's a fist fight instantly. Because if they don't fight you, they're going to fight the entire prison, because you will be labeled you got no heart, and they'll get rid of you instantly. If somebody says those things to you, you have to fight. And it's really odd, because when you get out into the real world, people throw those words around all the time. Like you'll hear guys refer to each other like "back off, bitch," things like that. And every time I hear it, it's like my heart skips 2 beats, right? Because for 13 years, if I heard that, it was usually followed pretty closely afterwards, with the sound of knuckles bouncing off of people's skulls, because it just is never, ever uttered without a fist fight. And it's used all the time out here. That's really kind of different too. Took about a year to get used to that. One tough chick says, or some people have no sense of personal space. I know I don't, but I do understand that most people are bothered by intrusions into their personal bubble. That's the truth. And it's, hey, Trish Ryan, good to see you. It's kind of a different thing, because inside it's very much a different thing. You everything inside runs on respect. Everything. It really does. Enemies treat each other with incredible amounts of respect. There are gangs in there that don't get along, but will coexist. I did 13 altogether. I did not do a 13-year stretch. I did 13 altogether. It was the first one was a really short sentence of only about 14 months. Where it got long was the last one. The last one was 90 some odd months. Tommy, our friend, who is also a talented writer and doing the Lord's work in prison, wants a female friend to write letters to while he's in prison. How do I find someone? There's a site you can go to called Pen Pals Behind Bars, or something along those lines. And it's a service that does exactly that. They will just get you pen pals, and it is legit. It's not a BS service. It's absolutely legit. I know a bunch of guys inside that did it. I did not, but I knew a bunch of guys inside that did. Because when I went in on the bank robberies, I had a wife, right? And she left me during the second sentence. But I wasn't really ready to jump back into to anything else after that one. In fact, I thought for the most part I was done. Right? I really thought for the most part I was done. But world's got an unusual way of throwing you curveballs. As soon as you feel like you know what's going on, right? Man makes plans, God laughs. How does that go? Something like that. I know that there are the C+ math is, we're hearing about more cases again, but I think that's probably because we get flare-ups this time of year, right? And I think this is going to be with us for a hot minute. This is one of the new strains of flu, and it's going to be around for a hot minute. Yeah, and then Quibs came on the scene, and just you never know, right? You just never know what the future holds. Just keep doing the right thing, right? What does punk mean in prison? My son is proud of being a punk. Oh, on this outside, you mean? He used to rock a mean mohawk with tartan pants and a very staunch set of values. Okay. Yeah, that's what it is on the outside. Like, you probably really groove to the Ramones, right? Black Flag, right? The Sex Pistols. I get it. The inside, what it means is that you take the female role inside prison for guys who are never going to see a woman again. The punks become the women for those men. So when you call someone a punk, you're basically it's another way to say bitch is what it is, but it's a little nastier. Yeah, life is what happens when you're busy making plans. Thank you, Mo Love. That sounds more like it. Yeah, absolutely. C plus math is what we say instead of the that thing that went around when we all had to wear the masks. So if you say that word, right? Um, it had the number 19 after it. You say that word and they will bury your video. I mean bury it. No one will see it. Not even your members will see it. They do not like that word in videos. So back when it was really flaring up, we I used to call it the C plus or 18 plus one. We just screwing around, and one day someone said the C plus math, and that kind of stuck. Which is how kind of everything happens on the lifeboat. Somebody says something funny, and then it kind of sticks. I had it. I had it once. I filmed it. I filmed the whole thing. You have that word right now, third time and worst ever. I'm sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers for my friend Lisa. I love Lisa. Yeah. You know what, WP? They really can be. In their defense, when when the pandemic was going on, you got any idea how many jackwagons were making content that was just stupid? I mean, there were content creators out there that, you know, people were looking for information. They were really starved for information. And it was an easy way to make a lot of money. If you just started putting that word into a lot of your videos, people would come and watch it, and people were getting paid. But there was a lot of misinformation and a lot of BS, and it wasn't good. So that's kind of yeah, that's how that went down. Mike, just Mike. Kicking it in here and fighting the meds. Okay. Yeah, it got really weird, people. It really did get really weird. But unfortunately, that's kind of how it went down. I wasn't feeling well one day recently. I was asked by so many people if I took a F test. Why? Right? You know what? Sweet tea, I always said the same thing. You should go get the test. I'm like, and do what? What if I test positive? What's the difference going to be? Right? I'm going to treat myself the same way. So why would I go out and go through all that? Ah, the in-laws seem to be in good moods. This could be a fun distraction. Wharton, I love you. You're formally Sir Michael. Okay. And backed off to Mike, just Mike. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here. And names do change, right? It happens. This channel started off as the Tommy Scoville Show. I hated that. Uh, 5 a.m. in the UK. I love the audience on the other side of the pond. I really do. Absolutely love the audience from the UK. We got a lot of people from the UK, which, as I always say, just goes to show you that they're all on drugs. I'm kidding. There's a lot of people who come to the boat for a lot of other reasons too. But this is everything that we're doing. There's nothing unique to this country. I hope that's not something that ever crosses anyone's mind. I don't care what country you are in. The drugs that are tearing up the U.S. are now going all over the world. This isn't an accident. It really isn't. This isn't an accident. And do you know how you can tell this isn't an accident? Hey, Jenny D, because there's no chance in hell that a drug dealer continues to make their product stronger, even if it's killing the customer base. Trust me, I know a lot of people that moved a lot of weight in my life. And if the product starts killing people, you're in Athens, Greece, Jenny D. Oh man, that's exciting. We really are all over the place. This channel has really kind of it has grown in a unique way. But over 30% of our audience is now outside the U.S. And I love that. I really do. I love that. Oh, very cool, Jenny D. I love that. In Greece. Yeah, the Tampa B says, Coolio, just what I was thinking. Just what I was thinking. Panda Kelly says, Tommy, was your brother ever in prison? My brother was never in prison. I'm not going to lie to you. My brother did enough dirt to go to prison. My brother did a lot of dirt. There's a book coming out that'll probably go into a lot of that. In fact, it's almost done, according to Johnny. Yeah, but Johnny did a lot of crime. He did a lot of crime with me, but he never did the bank robberies. I did the bank robberies I did without I never had a partner. I was the lone, the lone bank robber. I don't trust anybody. If I've learned anything in my life, it's that people can't keep a secret, especially in the real world, right? Especially in the real world. Inside prison, you can find some people that'll keep their mouths shut. They really will. But there are still rats inside too. Make no mistake. Every prison's got rats in it. Every one of them. There are guys that got caught with dope and they don't want to deal with the consequences. So they start telling on inmates, and it's a scummy nature of the beast, I guess. Nature of the beast. Who would think that criminals would turn on one another? You'd think that they'd be a lot more solid than that, wouldn't you? No, Johnny definitely got his life in order and tightened it up, And when he was doing that, I went off the rails. That's when I started to go hit banks and do the more serious crimes. But I robbed a bunch of them. Did I stash any money for when I got out? Well, if I did, I probably wouldn't mention it here. No Face, good to see you. That's right. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Your adorable, much-loved Yorkie mix started attacking for no reason. I'm recovering from emergency surgery right now. You're kidding me. We have to give him back. I'm heartbroken. Please pray for his safety. Yeah, I am so sorry to hear that. How bizarre. Mock, there is honor among thieves. There really is. But it's limited. It's limited. I knew some people that rode their sentence out and didn't tell on anybody. And I mean, I knew guys that went to prison for 30 years. I knew a guy that went to prison who thought he was going to get the death penalty, and he still didn't tell anybody. I mean, there are those people out there, but man, they're few and far in between these days. I remember when I was going in the last time, my attorney said 75% of the people in there are for cut deals. 75%. And I was like, there's no way that's the truth, man. There's no way that's the truth. But it is. It is, because everybody's terrified. The feds, nobody beats the feds. Nobody beats the feds. Melissa May says, today I am 10 months sober. Wow. 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 Closing in on that 1 year mark. You've got to be happy about that. Yeah, you know what? This is a really smart comment. It really is. That's a pretty intelligent comment if you think about it. So scared for young people these days. How do they get through puberty and all of the dumb stuff without dying from it? I talked to my granddaughter about it, but it's, you know what? It is crazy. Here's the thing. You got to talk to anybody you can who's in that. If you have anyone in your life who has any shot whatsoever of buying drugs out of the ecosystem that we're in right now, right? Because the supply chain for drugs in this country is tainted. We have a bad drug supply. It's tainted. It's killing. It's the number one cause of death in this country. And the drug dealers are making it stronger. As we catch the next batch, it's always stronger than the previous one. Why would you continue to do that if you know you're killing your customers? They can't pay you. Right? No way they're going to pay you if they're dead. Does not make any sense. It's a terrible business model. Terrible business model, unless you're not in it for business. unless you're trying to destroy a society, in which case, go with it. And I promise you that that's exactly what's going on. This is undermining our society in a way that you just cannot imagine. Really, this stuff is getting put into everything. You buy the Bolivian marching powder, right? The stuff you snort up your nose. If you buy that stuff, there's an excellent chance that it has fent in it. And anybody who's done drugs goes, why would you put fent in the blow? That makes no sense, right? They don't even go in the same direction. It doesn't matter. The blow is probably not real either. It's a synthetic fake. Everything is now fake. Tampa B says there's always more customers. Well, and I mean, in all honesty, normally they don't want to bring the heat down on themselves, but I think they're way beyond that. West Coast Fancy Nancy, the only explanation that makes sense is this isn't about making money. It has nothing to do with making money. This is them trying to undermine our society and a lot of other free societies. Israel is destroyed right now with fentanyl. Absolutely destroyed. Probably worse than America. Israel is really going through it with fentanyl. And go figure, one of our biggest allies, right? They are targeting. Think about it. If we were to have to go to war, 18 to 50, right? This the number one cause of death from 18 to 50 is drug overdose. If you had to mobilize an entire force, you'd be looking at ages 18 to 50, right? Yeah, they can fake the numbness. They can fake everything. They can absolutely fake everything, but they're adding this stuff to everything. And unfortunately, it can kill you. It can very easily kill you. And it used to be that people like me would overdose, right? Guys that were doing dope their whole life. And you figure, you know what? Well, sorry for Tommy, but the dude's been doing 6 grams of heroin a day his entire life. Eventually it's going to get him. And we always kind of had that feeling. Even if we lost a friend, we'd go, it sucks, but dude's been doing dope for how long, right? Eventually, this had to happen. And he's probably, tomorrow morning he doesn't have to get up and try to go get dope. And that's usually the kind of conversations that people would have. Nowadays, it isn't junkies. Nowadays, it's people that are experimenting with drugs for the first time, or somebody that's, just trying to buy, a little dope because or some pills because they're in pain or whatever. Mock says it's also stupid to get a spotlight on yourself because the soccer mom dies in the parking lot from a bad cocktail. And this is exactly the point I was making. But if you don't care, if that's not what you're there for. Yeah, Nicola Mack. I mean, he says, Tommy, it is everywhere. They are trying to kill people, population control, and the evil in this world at this minute is terrifying. I agree with you. Fentanyl is the new crack. They got to get rid of us somehow, go for the lowest hanging fruit. No, I think that there's a lot to this. They certainly don't care about us, the drug addict. They do not care. I promise you they don't, right? Because this would have been pretty easy to do something about. Honest to God. I mean, they've known about this, about how bad this has been for a really, really long time. But both parties will fight over this because they don't want to give the other side a win. They'll let 100,000 people a year overdose on this shit because the left doesn't want to give the right a win and the right doesn't want to give the left a win. Beautiful, isn't it? Friggin' beautiful. Lily Benjamin says, I find a nice car ride with the young people in my life works well. Can avoid eye contact and start with, where are you getting your weed? What else are you using? They talk. They've seen things. Absolutely. If you don't make them feel like, I've done shows on this. I've done tons of shows on how to talk to kids about this stuff. I really have. I've done tons of shows about it. Don't make it worse than it is. Don't tell them that just touching one of these pills is going to kill them, because then they're going to watch somebody take a bag out. Dude's going to take about 30 pills out, hand them to somebody. He's going to take more out, hand them to somebody else. And they're going to watch him hand bang these pills for 15 minutes, right? And they're going to go, yeah, mom and dad lied. Yeah, touching it's going to kill you. I've been watching him roll them in his fingers for how long? No, man, I've been lied to. Once you lose credibility, anything else you say sounds like BS too. You just tell them the truth. And the truth is, this is the number one cause of death in this country, right? You wouldn't let your kid drive your car without putting them through driver's education. But we'll send them off to school, and they are about 50 times more likely to die from a drug overdose than they are a car crash now. How weird is that? Yeah, sweet tea, there's some truth to this. I mean, back in the day, and there are people who have gone to prison for this. There were guys in the feds for this kind of stuff, where when they go to they were making out the powdered folds, right? They would poison one of them. They would guarantee that one of them was going to cause an overdose, because it was the greatest advertisement for that brand of dope in the world. And in the powdered stuff, they put a stamp on it, right? So you would hear it on the news. They'd write it in the newspapers. You got to be careful. There's stuff going around, and it says, blue magic or blue thunder on it, right? But it's killed one person or it's killed two people. And they do that intentionally so that everyone else wants to buy the blue thunder, and they will. Hey, I want that stuff that killed the two people last night, because every junkie thinks, well, my habit's different. It's not going to kill me, right? I've never overdosed. Everyone makes money except for the people that die and the families that lose their loved ones. Yeah, and unfortunately now there's nobody in this country that hasn't been touched by it. Good night, LaShaw. Have a good evening. We're in a pretty ugly spot. We really are. But I'll tell you something, people. The election is coming up. This is my only issue. I promise you, this is my only issue. The candidate that gives a way better presentation on what they're going to do to stop fent and nitazines from being literally on every single street corner in the United States for about $1.50 a freaking pill. We need to figure out what's going on with that. And that's what I'm most concerned about. Really is what I'm most concerned about. I don't have any friends left. I don't. Right? Jack's it. Everyone else is dead. Every person I ever met, right? They're all gone. And that's not an accident. It really isn't. They're targeting this part of the society. Mock says, my dad made it uncool by being as open and saying, if you want to try, at least know the source well enough, what they cut it with, kept me from trying it. Well, I know it's really a beautiful point. It is a beautiful point. Being super open and super honest with your kids. My son smoked pot, right? My son never did heroin. My son never went down that road. Didn't experiment with that, which is a beautiful thing. It really is. It's a beautiful thing. But every time he experimented with anything, he told me about it. Swear to you, every time. He would call and we'd have a conversation about it, and I would tell him the pitfalls of that drug and what he had to be careful about. And he always called, always. And I love the fact that there was a communication there. I would hang up the phone in tears. I really would. It sucked. It sucked, and I wanted to scream at him, but I didn't. And you know what? He's still here, and he's sober, so I feel like things went pretty well, truthfully. But it's there's nothing more important right now than talking to people in your life who have a shot at doing drugs. They really need to understand that if it doesn't come out of a pill bottle that you got yourself at a pharmacy, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. The customers are getting younger, Becky Lynn, and they don't need to know a dope dealer anymore. You used to have to know somebody. You had to know a connection. Not anymore, because these people are on all of the social media platforms, right? If you're on Instagram and you've been there for any length of time, somebody probably already sent you one of these pages where they're showing you all the drugs that they're selling, just like it's a post, all the drugs that they're selling, how they can get in there, how you pay, they'll drop it off. Nuts. Absolute nuts. You know what, Miss Sunrise Dawn? He is an awesome young man. He absolutely is an awesome young man. And he's getting better by the day. I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, it's a scary time to be alive, especially if you're doing drugs. But I've said a million times the war on drugs is lost. We already know that, right? So just make sure you win the battle. Make sure that your kids don't overdose. Make sure that your nieces and nephews don't overdose. Any of those people, make sure that they know and that they don't overdose, right? And even if we lose the war, you won the battle. It's not going to bother you nearly as much. And if every parent had that plan, we'd actually win the war on drugs because we'd be attacking it from the demand side instead of the supply side, right? How are you going to stop the war on drugs? Well, when people aren't trying to buy dope from everybody on every street in America, it's going to be a whole hell of a lot better. But right now, we are the biggest drug consumers on the planet by a crap load, right? We do a lot of drugs. So sad I'm aging, but glad I came of age in the 80s. Yeah, me too. Me too. If I had come at any other time, right? I wouldn't have made it. I definitely would have been dead. With the supply that's in here right now, we'd be dead. I guarantee it. I was very, very lucky to have been an 80s baby, to be sure. Really, really lucky. 70s baby, right? Grew up in the 80s. Yeah, I think everybody here, all the Gen X 80 kids are going, yeah, pretty lucky. We could experiment, right? You could do drugs and experiment on drugs and not think, someone here is probably going to die. If 8 of us are experimenting with this, statistically, there's a pretty good chance somebody's going to die. That's terrifying. Yeah, Tampa Bay. I agree. All righty, people. We're going to be back tomorrow, right? Class of '84. There. That's the same class as Johnny Scoville. Class of '84. My brother's class. I was class of '88. Right? One of the worst drug classes in the. And honestly, there's been documentaries made about the class of '88. These doesn't matter what part of the country, they seem to all have a real serious drug problem. A lot of people. 85 says Tampa Bay, man. A lot of people from that class. All right, folks. I am going to be back tomorrow. And so will Spanky. Going to spend more time together between now and then. I want you to reach out and try to save somebody, eh? And where is the cat? Come here, squirrel. She's not in the basket, but if I call her, she'll probably show up. Come on. Come here, kitty. What are you doing? There's a good girl. There's a good girl. Let's see. And this is my cat. She's not in the basket tonight. We're going to give her a break. All right. Good night, Kristen Melinda. Good night, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.